Do you know someone that has been through a crisis or a loss or a trauma and now time has passed and they make no sense? Um, their choices, the way they think, they're kind of spiraling, they just don't make logical sense. Today, I want to talk to you about this, what happens when people are going through grief and loss. And when you look over and you see they don't make sense, guess what? They don't make sense. Hurting people don't make sense. They're only surviving and they're just getting by. So, on the outside, when we look over and we see someone struggling with grief, we may have that knee jerk response to judge what's going on for them. It's good, it's bad, it's moral, it's not moral, it's ethical, it's not ethical. We can have our own perceptions and judgments about their behavior when they're going through loss. In fact, we may judge and say, oh, they just need to have more faith, they just need to pray more, they just need to go to church more, they just need to whatever. We're looking at that and judging that. The reality is when you're going through loss, your brain is hijacked. My friend Matt Townsend talks about this. When we're going through stress, our brain is hijacked and our IQ is lower. Go figure. We are not able to make intelligent decisions when we're going through grief. When we are hurting, we're not going to make sense. It's not going to happen, especially in those peak moments of crisis. And afterwards, as we're trying to put the pieces together, if we're still grieving, we're still hurting, we're not going to make sense. We're not going to be sequential thinkers in those moments. As well, when you look over and you see someone that is not making sense, understand that they are completely off balance. Our body has a dominance and non-dominance factor. And when we are under stress, our dominant features, our dominant eye, our dominant ear, our dominant leg, all of this, our brain is actually off kilter. And so we won't be thinking congruently, not together. And so we're going to be missing things. We're not going to see all of the information or possibilities. So just know that somebody who's going through grief is going to have these big Swiss cheese like holes in what they're seeing and not seeing. And that may be very difficult on the outside to recognize that they are only seeing part of the picture. They're only hearing part of the message or information, and they're not able to put it together very well because they're in pain. You know, the other day I was having a migraine and I realized, oh my goodness, I am not a sane person when I'm in pain. That's the same thing with people in grief. They're not going to make sense. So, what can you do? As an outsider watching somebody go through loss and grief and struggle, what can you do? Can I tell you, the best thing you can do is love and listen. Love and listen. You have to understand that at some point, things will kind of balance out, settle out a little bit. You want to be that safe place where that person can turn for comfort and love and acceptance. Now, that doesn't mean you accept everything that they do. However, that compassion that you show, recognizing that they don't have the capacity to make the best choices right now, it's so significant. Again, when people are hurting, when they're grieving, when they're going through loss, there are 1,001 things that have just fragmented and broken that have to come back together. It takes time. It takes commitment. It takes the desire to be here and live through this. To love and listen and give them the support that they need, even when they don't make sense.